is Piper Moretti, and thank you so much for joining me again on Crypto and Real Estate. Today I have Shelly Vincent. We have become fast friends in the last couple of months, I think. Shelly is a designated managing broker in Colorado for eXp, my brokerage as well. And she is teaching crypto and real estate to agents. And you are really the only broker that I know that's actually teaching this, and is just just headed up with it, and just was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm teaching this, and a lot of agents have jumped on board. But I want to know, first of all, how you came to eXp as a broker, and then also how you got into crypto, and then how you started teaching this.
That's a long story.
Loaded question. I know. I was just
Yeah,
give me your history. Give me your history.
all right. I was in advertising for 20 years. I got into real estate around 2010 in Florida, and I was, really doing well in real estate there. I became a managing broker around 2016 and got into brokerage management. But I have a special needs child and wanted to give him some more opportunities. Colorado offered this, and ended up in Colorado in 2018. Staying on the business side of things, I had been with another brokerage and management there, and I had the opportunity to, manage 1,400 agents for eXp. Why not? So I,
Sure.
yeah, exactly. What could go wrong? So it's been, it's been a crazy ride. But the experience I've gained and what I've learned along the way has just been invaluable. And to tie that into the crypto, I had started, dabbling in it about 2017. First heard about my first little slivers of Bitcoin, and learned about Ethereum, and just kind of followed it along the way and got really into it more and more. Obviously, we've had a lot of great bull markets that have come through. I actually, had used some of my earnings to buy down, for a down payment on a car. And it was, doing really well. And then, you started seeing more of the applications, the blockchain technology side of things come through, which, it's real important for me to follow industry news. And I started picking up on this, and I kept seeing the interest building and building. And my big aha moment was because of you. So last
What?
November, yeah, and I've told this story many times. Is during our annual conference in November
Oh, the
last year.
EXP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that
I've
was
been so
nuts.
interested in it. I wanted to learn more. How can we get this information to agents, because it's really taken off here? And I thought, okay, this could be a big thing. So was an 80-seat room that they had set up for you in the breakout session, and I went in, got my seat early, ready to go, and then within 5 minutes of the class starting, I think about 300 people had tried to squeeze in the room, with many more
Must have
out the
been.
doors. And this was
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yes, we are bringing this to the agents. And just like you said, there is a responsibility, because it's a volatile, very new way of transacting business, to understand the transaction itself, how it's done, how it changes from working in fiat to working in crypto. And what we're seeing is a lot of people interested in it. And just because you've got a Coinbase wallet does not mean that you are necessarily qualified to transact $1 million property using
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. You and I've talked about this. The bad actors out there that they may be big promoters and they're really into it and excited, but that doesn't mean that they have the understanding and knowledge that you really need to have, if you're going to use this method,
Hmm.
currency. And so, what was important to me is, because eXp is considered a very technologically advanced company on top of market trends, that I bring this education and knowledge to our agents, so that if they come across the opportunity, that they'll be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. And eventually, hopefully, it will, with the regulations, it will become another way to pay. But it's just like any other specialty, though. I mean, we've got
Yeah.
so many different designations from the different associations, and then NAR. Um, I hope that this becomes a designation at some point, and a specialty.
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
not going away.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. And then beyond teaching it, I wanted to make sure that I had the right knowledge to teach as well. So I became a property certified agent. I educated myself, created a curriculum, and then had it approved by the state of Colorado for 2 CE hours credit. And so I actually
Love that.
teach an accredited course for the state of Colorado, and and I think that's really great. And I think that more agents need to be taking these accredited courses that are out
Hmm.
there, because you and I are both seeing, learn crypto. Here's my 2 hours, here's my 4 hours, pay me $500 and get a special certificate that I made for you. There needs to be
Right.
there needs to be some type of standardization, and I do think
Right.
that having some type of accreditation from NAR is going to be a really great way to be able to put some type of consistency on the education out there.
Yeah, yeah, and and not to disparage the proppy certification.
Mm-hmm.
It's important, and
Mm-hmm.
to that particular platform. I mean, they're
Yep.
they're obviously the leaders in the space right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they've got some longevity. They keep adding really cool stuff on. A new Inman article just came out today about their title and escrow. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, if agents become property certified, that's one more step,
Mm-hmm.
to gaining the knowledge that they need. And
Yep.
but to become property certified, not a lot of people know what that is. So yeah,
True.
it's but
Yep.
say like an NAR designation or something like that is something that's recognized by everybody that we pay dues to would be
Mm-hmm.
super helpful. I mean, even brokerages, I think,
Mm-hmm.
should
Well,
offer
and
this.
like you and I have seen, especially with the crypto market right now, you're seeing a filtering of
Mm-hmm.
the strongest survive, and you're really seeing the ones that didn't have the strong backing, the strong programming behind it, are going to be the ones that fall away. And twice today already, I've heard about two more groups of people trying to start similar companies as Proppy and do this, and so it's
Wow.
just the rush to the field. And I believe that we're going to see something similar. There we will have a filtering out, and the strong will prevail. There's always a huge rush when there's a new technology like this, and so I'm definitely seeing a tremendous amount of newcomers into the field. And like you said, property very quickly is not going to be the only one. They were first the starting line,
Mm-hmm.
as we like to say. And if you are going to have agents that you allow to use your platform, or that you promote as having access to it, you're going to want them to have some type of minimal education and understanding. So I can understand
Yeah.
their reasoning for wanting to have a certification program
Oh,
for it. But there
definitely.
needs to be some type of program out there for agents so that they can use any platform they want.
This is true. Yeah. In fact, I think and this wasn't the case before. Proppy is requiring now that their ambassadors get
Mm-hmm.
certified, because they need to be able to have that baseline conversation with them,
Yeah.
because they're sending those agents out into the world talking about the platform, getting
Mm-hmm.
people to, bind to the tokens and all that. So yeah, there's a lot of token distribution. But no, I mean, they're doing a good thing by educating far and wide.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that the fact that, like I said, like you're a broker, it gives it actually like a little bit more validity to it,
Mm-hmm.
because I've had brokers of agents who have taken my courses or have seen
Yeah.
me talk, saying, wait a minute, what about the legalities here? What about the regulations? I don't want to
Right.
get in trouble. And I totally understand that. A lot of agents are, kind of going rogue with the stuff too. It just seems like every agent, I mean, every day I see another agent come and say, hey, I'm certified, I'm this, I'm that, I'm an expert,
Yeah.
and first of all, anybody who claims that they're an expert, run away. That's what I say, because it's just there's too much information, and it's like a runaway train. So anybody that says that they're
Mm-hmm.
an absolute expert in the space, there's no way. I do not trust them automatically. But it's
Well,
there's so much out there right now.
absolutely. And, my friend Robert Lindley, who's the president of Canyon Title, he likes to say that we're building the plane we're flying on.
I love that
It, you know,
expression. Yeah,
we're just,
really are.
we're making it up as we go, because it's all new, the processes, everything. And so we've got to really work on solidifying these processes and having some type of a uniform transaction process in place, for right now. And I
Mm.
wrote the additional provisions for our contract when there is a cryptocurrency involved. And of course, I have to start with, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor. Just this
Yeah.
is just probably some information you need to know. And so that's been really important for me to have handy is the fact that we have some type of unification of the process right now.
Hmm.
And as a
And what,
broker, you're right. I don't
yeah.
see many brokers. In my thought process, I think it's a responsibility as a broker to provide this information to our agents, and support them in this way. If we have something that's just taking the industry by storm, isn't it my responsibility to make my agents aware of it and to educate them in it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and a lot of agents just kind of fly blind. They have they either have a buyer, who found them or wants to buy in crypto, and they can't tell if they're real or not, or or they're just seeking information. They want to get more into it and learn and whatever. And there's not a lot of
Hmm.
information out there.
Agreed.
But you have had a lot of success. I mean, you haven't been teaching this for very long,
No.
and you're still filling rooms virtually, right?
Uh, it was amazing. I call it my guinea pig class. My first class, I said, okay, hey, we're going to try this. I just got accreditation. Let's see how it goes. Just trying out my curriculum, my time frame for the first time. And I had 50 agents, that just immediately signed up for it. And I said, this is crazy. It's been blowing my mind, the interest level in it. So yesterday I did it again. I had my second class. 50 agents registered within 72 hours. I
So crazy.
hosted a third class for Colorado Springs, and it sold out in 3 hours. So I'm just
Unbelievable.
absolutely blown away at the
Yeah.
response and the desire for this information and education in it. And then not only that, but when I have the class, it's, when you think of a CE class, normally you think of, okay, try to stay awake for 2 hours, get my credit and move
Uh-huh.
on. It is a huge challenge to keep it within 2 hours because of the interaction with the students, because you're going to have everyone from people who don't know exactly what the definition of crypto is to some of the biggest crypto nerds in the area, and they're all in one class together. And so the
Yeah.
questions and the type of questions are just all over the spectrum.
All
And so the class
over.
is so interesting, and the education you leave with is so much more than just what my slides present while you're there. And it's just been
Oh,
amazing so far.
yeah. I learn every time I teach because there's always somebody in the
Hmm.
audience that's like, "Oh, did you hear about this app? And they're doing this." I'm like, "Oh God, no!" But that sounds awesome. It happened to me yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh God."
Yeah,
'Cause
and especially, my expertise is in the blockchain, the real estate, the applications, and things like that. And I'll get questions all the time. It's like, what crypto should I buy? And it's like, that's
how
not
do you
my,
know?
that's not what I do. So, it's a little bit different. I'm very specialized in blockchain and real estate, but I can't tell you what's coming on the market, what's the big up and comer, and so I think that a lot of people that are newer to the field don't understand how exactly broad it is and the information that's out there. And
Yeah.
if you just follow just a few channels, you're going to be drinking from a fire hose. It's just
Oh,
absolutely
definitely.
amazing.
Yeah, and I preface all of my classes, that I do with brokerages and whatnot, and I say, look, this if you haven't been in this before, it's going to be
Mhm.
like drinking from a fire hose, and I'm apologizing in advance. So it's just
Yeah.
I'm gonna go really fast, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna go from 0 to 60 in like nothing flat. So yeah, there's so much, and there's I do an overview of what can be done in this space and what's going on in this space. And it's
Mhm.
so much for anybody to comprehend, let alone realtors, because we've been, real estate,
Right.
as we know, is very
Mhm.
archaic. And
Yep.
we're trying to bring something in, that's brand new and moves at the speed of light. And it's really hard. It's difficult for agents that have been
Mhm.
doing the same thing for 30 years,
Right.
wrap their heads around it. And I honestly, this is so funny. I actually had, I don't know if I told you this or not, it was bound to happen. I was teaching, I think about a month or so ago, to my car group, California Association of Realtors, and this really sweet little lady said, "Well, how heavy are these coins? Can I put them in my purse?" And I'm like, And I thought she was joking at first, and I thought, "Oh, haha, that's cute." No, but she and, like, then I saw her on the screen, and I'm like, "Oh, no, she's serious."
Oh no.
Like, "Oh, this
Well,
is really
she's
funny."
probably not going to be one of the proponents of it, but
I don't think
there's a
so, but
huge
the fact she
difference
was
these
there
days in
was
the
cute.
people that are
Yeah.
talking about it and the people that are doing it. And,
Yeah.
I'm working, behind the scenes with, the title companies, with the other agents and making these transactions possible, which is not a simple task at all because of the intermediaries you have to find and what title insurance companies are going to insure title.
Yeah.
And these have been big problems, that we've had to solve along the way. And I'm really excited to say that we've done that here in Colorado. But
Yay.
I get a lot of naysayers that, are like, well, she can't do it. It's not really a crypto trans. It's not. I say, well, just because you haven't done it doesn't mean I'm not
Yeah.
doing it.
And it doesn't mean
So,
it's not legitimate. So,
yeah.
come
And
on,
so, May 30th, we will officially close the first wallet to wallet title based transaction here in Colorado
Woo!
with Canyon Title, and I'm really excited about it. So it's been a very long process to get to this point, but we are just the front end as agents. The magic really happens in title, and so it's one thing to teach this, to learn this, but you've got to partner with someone like Proppy, like
Oh,
Canyon,
yeah.
like one of these companies that are able to transact and insure these transfers, and that's where the magic happens. And
I know.
they're
And
great
just to have
working
those
with
people that
us.
have those conversations. Yeah. Like we
Yes,
don't know
yes.
everything, but they're at least willing to sit down and say, "Okay, let's figure this out." And that's how I got started because I had people say, "All right, well, that's new. Let's talk about this for a little bit,"
Right.
and that thank God, because my after my fourth transaction, I needed an escrow company here. It's done a little bit differently in SoCal. We've got title and escrow that's separate.
Hmm.
Um, but I needed an escrow company. I thought, oh my God, if they just had a payment processing account, it would just make my life so much easier for these things,
Yeah,
just to have that one
exactly.
component. And I had closed a couple with different escrow companies, great people. But, I'm like, hey, would you want to look into getting a payment process, that this account so
Hmm.
you can accept Bitcoins? And they all said,
Hmm.
no, absolutely not. We can't do it.
Right.
Lawyers got a hold of it. They said, no, we're not going to do this. And then it took one woman here who owns her own escrow company
Hmm.
to say, yeah, I'll look into that. That's fine. And I hope to have her on the
Hmm.
show one of these days because she's done, it's granted, it's not a huge part of her business yet, but she gets the importance. She's done about 15 million
Hmm.
in volume,
Okay.
and she's willing to have those conversations.
Yep.
So that's all you can ask for, And
It,
same with my title guy
exactly.
too.
Well, there's always got to be the first,
Yeah,
like Proppy,
yeah,
stepped up and did the first NFT house. And
yeah,
the problem solving that's there is just absolutely amazing.
yeah,
And
and
you've
that's what
always
excites
got
me.
to have a first.
Absolutely. Now, wait. Okay, so tell me. Let's rewind. Tell me a little bit, as much as you can, anyway, about this wallet to wallet that's going on that we're going to hear a lot about.
No, it's okay. So we did, I listed a home to
Mhm.
a gentleman who is actually a Swedish citizen. He's not an American citizen, but he owns a home here in Colorado. His payment and his accounts are all based in Sweden. He gets paid in euros or in cryptocurrency. He's a big proponent of crypto. And when you're in a typical fiat transaction here, and you're talking about wiring net proceeds, you're talking about bank to bank and holding and foreign exchange, and it can take a month. The fees
Mhm.
upon fees upon fees are just ridiculous. And so he asked me, said, "Can I receive my funds in crypto?" And I said, "Hold on,
Yeah.
let me see." And Rob and I have been talking about it for a while, and I said, "Hey, I've got them. I've got the client. Let's make this happen." And so we interviewed several different, custodian, companies, intermediaries that can perform the wallet to wallet transfers for us. We had to overcome the issues with the fiat versus, crypto units. We overcame that, and then the biggest hurdle was the title company. As far as the insurance. Their
Mm-hmm.
underwriters, would they do it? And it took an act of Congress with the title companies to get the underwriters to accept it and to insure it. And he managed to do it. And it was because of his long term relationships he had built, the trust he built with those companies, that they were willing to give him the chance to do it. And
Wow.
so we have put everything in place. So
Okay.
our closing is set for May 30th. And what we will have is you have a typical buyer that's getting a regular loan. But these all of the funds, rather than going to your typical title escrow, are going to go into the intermediary. They'll either disperse as fiat, and then we'll have the balance of the funds. It's all going to go in as USD coin, as a stable coin. And then the end user will be my seller, who will receive the funds in whichever cryptocurrency he chooses. It'll be transferred to
Okay.
him, since we're using BlockFi for this transaction,
Okay.
and
That
my
was my next
seller has,
question.
yeah, so my
Uh,
seller has a BlockFi account. Then
Okay.
what title will do, will they'll have the disbursement order, and then BlockFi will just use the disbursement order and transfer the funds from there. And it also is a relief for title in that they're not also having to handle the funds personally themselves. They just get to put the disbursement
Right.
order out.
Yeah. Now then, how do settlements happen after that? How do
Mhm.
commissions get paid? How does the
So,
electric company get paid? Taxes,
well,
all that.
everything, obviously, we're still paid in fiat. Everything else is
Mhm.
dispersed in fiat. It's going to come
Yep.
out of the wallet, go into title escrow, and disperse from there. But everything that's kept as, crypto, the net proceeds that remain will go into the seller's wallet. Just inversely, if we have a buyer that wants to buy in crypto and hold earnest money, they're going to enter it into the BlockFi account through their wallet. It will be immediately
Hmm.
converted into a USD stable coin to be held. And so you remove that volatility. And
I
then
love
the
that.
buyer and
Yeah, that's
seller, we're going to negotiate fees. We can
yep.
even put smart contracts into place for automated transfers as to when gas fees are lowest, to help maintain a specific expectation of what the fees are. And so, I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many things that we're working to put in place right now to add some sort of standard to this type of
Okay.
transaction. Is just amazing.
So then how, okay, so in a fiat transaction, the title or the escrow company has like their escrow
Mhm.
account.
Yep.
So, and they hold the funds there until they're ready to disperse. Now
Yep.
that you're using BlockFi, you said the
Mhm.
title doesn't have to touch these. So like where like so
Mhm.
there's an intermediary. There's still that
There's-
intermediary
Yep.
wallet, so to speak. Like and that's
Mhm.
that. And so how is that? I guess like passing the I don't know the sniff test. I guess with title
Mhm.
and escrow.
Well,
I you know like
that's been the challenge, is because
yeah.
we're outsourcing the escrow holding,
Hmm.
with the insurance companies, and so you want to have a very specific stable company like BlockFi,
Like BlockFi.
FormPay,
Yeah.
one of the intermediary companies that have a great record, and that are willing to meet with accounts like Canyon Title or Proppy, whoever they're working with, in Zoom or in person, build that KYC that you
Hmm.
have. And right now, our biggest challenge in title with crypto is the definition of good funds,
Yeah.
and cryptocurrency
Exactly.
is not a part of that definition.
Yep.
And so until it is, we will have to have an intermediary, and it's still a federal requirement that all titles carried out in fiat amounts and terms. And so we are having to put in those provisions to create those, transfer of unit dollar amounts, and how it reflects in the transaction separately as, like I said, the additional provisions. And like you said, one of the biggest difficulties in this is the lack of knowledge and education at the
Hmm.
regulatory level. I presented these additional provisions to our general counsel for the state, to get their input, and his first response was, "Why would they want to do that?" So
Well.
regulation is generally way behind the market. And so it leaves it to us, and it is a strong liability that we have to watch out for. Be very careful how we word our provisions, what we say, what we do,
Uh-huh.
and make sure that anyone that's working with us on these provisions understands, we're not lawyers, we're not financial advisors, we're just real estate professionals trying to figure it out just like you. And here's the best way we found so far.
Wow. Okay. And then, so then is BlockFi charging any more to the buyer or the seller or to anybody to have this service?
So if they transfer it as the stable coin USD coin to the
Mhm.
seller, there's no transfer fee. If they
Wow.
transfer it into another type of cryptocurrency prior to transferring to the seller, then there will be a transfer fee. And that all depends on which crypto the seller chooses and what they negotiate.
Okay.
And so, but what we're hoping to do is create those relationships that are long term with these types of companies to where we can pay more set fees and not have it fluctuate so much. Because, like I said, that the standardization of this and the expectations being set are going to be very important for the industry, and that's where we're trying
Hmm.
to do the work right now is putting some type of regular standard and expectation for our clients.
That's, yeah, absolutely. The payment processors that my escrow company here uses, they charge anywhere from 0.5 to 1%
Hmm.
to the buyer.
And that can be
And
a gigantic difference.
oh, yes. And not only that, it's just that, in my, price point down here, let's just say it's 2.5, $3 million.
Mhm.
That's a lot, that, and it's almost like the buyer is being, if you're going to go this route, it's almost like they're being punished for, wanting to,
Mhm.
because they're going to have to pay capital gains on that anyway, as well. So it's
Right.
like they're getting hit.
Hmm.
There are, like in your case, there are, uh, upshots to all this, with the, because you've got a, what do you say is from Sweden?
Yep. Hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
So, if it's, if so that way, I mean, like, yeah, if it's done in crypto, then yes, of course it's going to be faster and smoother.
right. Yeah,
Um,
it'll be instantaneous, and
but
he can take
yeah.
cryptocurrency is an international currency. He can
Hmm.
apply it wherever he's at that time for purchases.
Yeah.
Wherever he accepts it, rather
God.
than the waiting for a month for his money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's way, way more
Hmm.
frictionless. So, okay. So then with the title and everything, so what extra, I don't know, disclosures, verification, any of that are you, have you had to do, or have you? I mean, are you, or are they kind of
Uh,
treating it like a cash transaction with, verification of funds? How are
right.
you handling that?
Well, one of the things we realize is the volatility and the changes in value, especially like we're seeing these days. So let's say that someone wants to put funds down for earnest money,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to want to put about $50,000 down. In regular fiat, it's you send it to the escrow company. It's held. It's not really volatile, so that doesn't change. Now, let's say that if it was in Bitcoin, they transferred $50,000 worth of Bitcoin, and that amount of Bitcoin they transferred is now worth $30,000 2 weeks later, and the contract fails. It puts a huge liability on who's ever holding escrow. And so the way that
Mm-hmm.
we are working with that is that rather than holding it in dollar amounts, we're going to hold it in unit amounts. So someone can put a
Okay.
1 Bitcoin down, held in earnest money, regardless of what that value is at that time. If the contract fails, they will receive 1 Bitcoin back, regardless of the value.
Regardless of what the price is going to be doing. Okay. All right.
Exactly. So that's one
All
avenue.
right.
But like I said, also, we could take incoming, and we accept multiple different forms of cryptocurrency. One of the best ways we found, now there's fees involved, but it's not, terrible. And like I said, we're going to try and optimize it for the lowest fees. But if you can take incoming, whatever currency you choose to pay in, and immediately transfer it into a USD stable coin, then you're going to be able to get rid of that volatility as well. So you've got two
Yeah.
different ways that you can do it. I think, as volatile as the market is currently, that might be the preferred way to do it right now. And companies like Foreign Pay and BlockFi, that's what they're doing.
That's, yeah. I'm loving foreign pay. BitPay's great, but foreign pay is a little easier to deal with, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's, so
Well, and
we've
it
been
is, and
shifting to there. Yeah.
and because everyone's new right now and no one really has a track record, is those personal relationships that you build with
Absolutely.
them and get to talk to them in the
Yeah.
positions that we're in, that you're going to be building those relationships and earning that trust of using those companies at this time. You got to know who's backing them, how they're track record is so far, where they sit
Hmm.
with funding. You need to know all these things before you go and have them hold millions of dollars in escrow accounts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Boy, yeah. I don't. This is another story for another time. But I did. It's kind of along the same lines. I had a agent tell me, "Hey, I'm doing my first NFT." I'm like, "Oh, great. Are you doing it with Proppy?" And she said, "No." And then she sent me the name of the company, and I'm like, I've never heard of this before. Doesn't mean anything, but
Right.
I Googled it. There's no information on this company whatsoever. It's just somebody, I think, in their garage that's doing like 3D renderings on OpenSea, And I'm like,
Jesus.
tell me what you mean by this. So it's just, I'm
Exactly.
like, oh, did you do your homework on this? So
Mhm.
anyway, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it's this, and I love the evolution of just all of this information in general because I was asked, I don't know, 5 years ago to speak with a colleague of mine at the Realtor.com Success Summit. I don't even know if they're doing those anymore.
Mhm.
But and they had a huge ballroom that reserved just for our talk, and we had this whole thing planned, and this was, of course, it's Vegas. They had us at the end of the day, and I'm like, oh, great, they're saving the best for last. This is awesome, We had 15 people show up in a ballroom that probably held 300, or
So the
more,
opposite of what
and
we saw.
the absolute opposite. So I'd have
Mhm.
to laugh to myself. I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't get anybody's attention 5 years ago on this.
Mhm.
It really just depended like what audience it was, because like
Right.
the crypto guys were like, wait, I can buy a house with this. This is awesome, and then they were like all ears. And then the
Yeah.
realtors were like, whatever. It's just
Mhm.
a passing fad, blah, 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 and the rise and fall of Bitcoin happened, 2017, 2018. And I
Mhm.
thought, well, maybe they're right, because I
Yeah.
didn't do anything for like two
Well,
years, and then
and
all
I
of a
do
sudden,
kind of,
boom.
giggle at the
Yeah,
people saying, "Oh, crypto's going away now. It's going to go to zero." We warned
yeah,
you, and I'm
whatever.
sitting back laughing. It's like it shows your lack of understanding
Yeah,
of the technology behind it and the applications it holds, and the value of cryptocurrency to me. And probably you too. It's not about the coins; it's about the programming. It's about the blockchain and the
mm-hmm.
applications it serves, and that's where the money is. To me,
Yeah,
in the future, you're going to see, the applications for healthcare, for real estate, for security, banking. It's just endless right now, and the more you learn about blockchain and the technology, the more you understand the value of it in so many
yeah.
different fields.
And you really start to geek out. I mean, like I've never considered myself, a tech geek. I'm
Mhm.
still not, but I'm just it just kind of opens up your purview on what could
Mhm.
actually happen, especially in our vertical, real estate. It's like, oh my God, this would just
Yep.
make everyone's lives so much easier. And,
Yep.
just, putting all
Well,
that on there. Now, is Proppy helping you with um, this one wallet to wallet transaction or no? It's,
on
it's
this
you and
one,
Canyon
this
Title?
is this is just local. This is Canyon Title.
Okay.
Working with me on this one now. I have another listing that, Proppy is very invaluable to me too on the ability of its platform to be able to list other properties
Mm-hmm.
that you have as a property certified agent, so that you have this network of other agents who may have crypto buyers as well. And so having that my other property listed on property's platform, and the audience that Proppy has is just also invaluable as well. And Proppy is always going to be involved at some point because of the what they've been able to accomplish in the market. Now, I've got plenty of homeowners that want to do the NFTs as well, which Proppy is definitely the leader in that. And so it's just literally that matter of timing, getting them more standardized on the NFT process. And you
Mm-hmm.
and I talked about this a lot. Where the NFTs are at right now is imperfect, and it's going to evolve itself. But the fact that Proppy has decided to step up and actually tackle the problem is, the first step's the biggest, and they've done it. And so,
Yeah.
hats off to them, for actually making that happen. And they've brought they've brought, I believe, cryptocurrency to the real estate market more than anyone else has, and they deserve full kudos for that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's been really great to watch them grow from just a few people to what they are
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
And I do see a world where, there will be several legitimate platforms that if we do go the NFT route,
Hmm.
it's going to be a lot easier to do and cheaper probably. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, at some point, I don't know. I don't know if realtors are ever going to be involved in it. Maybe they will be on a,
Hmm.
on a certain level.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just too
Yeah.
early to tell right now, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think our jobs by any ways are going to go away. I believe that they're going to change because
Oh,
even with,
definitely.
the
Yeah.
NFT of the house and everything, there's still the marketing of it. There's still the
Yeah.
inspections, the appraisals,
Still got to do
going
the
through
due
the
diligence.
disclosures.
Yeah.
Yeah, the contracts, they're all still there. And
Yeah.
so that's where I believe that, we're still going to have a role to play and will still be just as important. And it's just going to be, a little bit different change. I mean, think about when fax machines came to the world, email came to the world, our positions and how we did work changed completely. And so this is just one
Absolutely.
more step in that evolution, but we're
Yeah.
still here. What we need is for title to change. Title hasn't changed really in the last 100 years. And so, it's the people taking on the title and the smart contracts is where we're really going to see the most growth here in the next decade. And it's finding those title companies willing to take the next step. And then beyond that,
Hmm.
the government authorities to accept it. So,
Yeah.
that's a whole other podcast right there. But,
Oh, I know. Totally.
so, we can do all we want to do, but, when it comes to filing and recording, that's and what's required in those terms, that's a whole other issue that we need to tackle once we standardize our process on the front end.
Totally. All right. And then what else you got? Is it a $15 million
uh,
listing
12
that
million.
the 12 million? I don't know why I had 15. Tell me
Yeah,
about that.
we have a downtown Denver penthouse overlooking Coors Field. It's 7,000 square feet. In the middle of downtown, it takes the top two floors of this amazing building. It's just gorgeous. The family had it. They bought three different units and combined them all. Right now, they have it set up for two conforming bedrooms in several different living spaces, but it can easily be reconformed into 4 and 5 bedrooms the way it was. The views are just spectacular. And so we haven't seen anything like this, but the point of it is the seller is very excited about cryptocurrency. He's a big investor in it and startups, and he really wants to sell the house for cryptocurrency. And so, and thanks to working with local title companies like Canyon Title or Proppy, is that we're able to give those options of cash, of lenders, of
Hmm.
crypto in, and still be able to provide crypto out. And so it's not, what we've seen with crypto purchases so far has been, someone sells their crypto then buys a house, or it's a direct wallet to wallet full price crypto transfer outside of title. What we're
Hmm.
bringing to the table is the options in and out, the
Yeah.
flexibility. That's where we're taking that next step is, do you want to receive crypto? Do you want to buy with crypto? It shouldn't affect the other party. And that's what we're trying to do is make sure that those options of receiving or using are both there without effect to the other party.
Yes. And I'm going to have to look more into this BlockFi option
Hmm.
as well because I mean they've been on my radar, but they haven't really. I mean, I haven't had a need to use them, and now I do because more wallets are going to be coming up, and we got to figure
Yeah.
this out and fast.
Yeah. And people think, with the dip right
So,
now that, this all going to go away or slow down. And, what I see is a bunch of people buying in right now, buy
mhm.
the dip,
Oh yeah, it's
and
on
it will
sale.
go back up
Yep.
because, we know what the applications are that are coming out on these currencies and the value of it's going to go way back up again. And so, we can always take this time. It's like, let's put these systems into place. Let's get this going because we know there will be a lot of crypto buyers coming very quickly to this market. I do want to go back to, we were taught, you and I have talked about in Heartland, the bad actors.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk about the bad actors. And so, people like you and myself, we're very passionate about the education and understanding and knowledge. And there's a big difference right now between the doers and the talkers. And
Oh, yeah.
every day I see more and more talkers. And, and, and I think that's dangerous to the profession. Just like bad real estate agents make us all look bad,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh, yeah.
and and I admire the interest in it, but I think because we see so many people rushing to grab it, and I'm starting to see competition. For the first time in a very long time this week, I've heard some other people in my area make the claim that I was lying about what we were doing and that I was
Fantastic. Don't you
exaggerating.
love that?
I know,
It's like,
well, it's like, well, that knows I'm successful and I'm rattling cages, but B, just and I'm going to go back to this. Just because you can't doesn't mean I can't. That I'm not doing, or you
right.
haven't figured it out yet. It doesn't mean that I'm not
Yeah.
doing it. And so, I think that that's been a real challenge for me is I come across so many people saying, "Oh, I've done this, I've done that," and I'm like, but if you say, "Okay, how'd you do it?" they can't answer it. And so,
Right.
a lot of bad actors out there that want to seem like they are, really these big crypto leaders and haven't even closed one transaction, that involves it. And I agree, you've got to learn and you've got to you get out there and you actually have to do it. But I just want to make sure, that, from a managing broker perspective, I feel this extreme responsibility of having people working within their scope and their
Hmm.
understanding. And so it's a huge liability to not have that full understanding of the industry and exactly, what you're working with. And, just like, residential real estate agents should not be doing commercial if you are not, already educated in or have
Yeah. It's the
experience.
same
Um,
concept. Yeah.
yeah, and it's the same thing with cryptocurrency. This is right now a very volatile and non-regulated or standardized process, and so it's
Hmm.
extremely important to learn everything you can and actually, allow yourself to be mentored in it. Work with
Yeah.
other people that do have that experience. Let us help you. Let us, you know, um, bring you the education experience you need. We'll let you work with our clients. We want you to understand it if you're going to go out there
Yeah.
and do it. So, like I said, it's a very important piece of the puzzle is having these managing brokers educating their agents because, especially in these bigger cities, and we know the coastal towns, you're seeing much more of the crypto transactions taking
Hmm.
place. These managing brokers should be educating their agents in it, and I think one of the
Yeah.
best ways, like circling back to the NAR, we need a certification for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And brokers everywhere should embrace it to some degree and not be
Mhm.
afraid of it because like you said, it's just not going away. It's going to become,
Mhm.
excuse me, a standard way to pay. You've got to be able to, you don't want to, first of all, you don't want to lose the client. Secondly, you've got to be able to bring this to your agents and
Mhm.
educate them, and
Yeah.
it was funny. I did a local talk couple of weeks ago now, just different brokerages around, the coastal town, where I
Mhm.
live.
Mhm.
It's funny, I don't think one person from my old brokerage showed up. They've
Mhm.
got, they've
Mhm.
got the market share here.
Mhm.
They're huge for Manhattan Beach, for Hermosa Beach, but
Mhm.
they've been, like I said, they've been doing the same thing for 20 years. I love that broker over there. He's like he's my mentor. He's an amazing person. But, again, it's like they just don't see the importance
Right.
of that. And that's kind of why I left to go to another brokerage that embraces it. I mean, and
Yep.
trust me, I've been to more brokerages than I'd like to admit, but each one said, "Oh yeah, oh we love blockchain. We love what you're doing. We'll support you." And then,
Mhm.
a few months later you find out, "Oh wait, they have no idea how to support me." One, two, they really don't care about this. It's not important to them. So,
Right.
anyway, here I am now at a brokerage that finally finally embraces it. But no, I mean, kudos to you for
Yeah.
just taking charge and doing, and yeah, and for the bad actors, it just seems just like in the last few weeks or couple
Mhm.
months, there's just more and more and more that I see online. Hey, I'm the expert. I'll help you. And here's a
Mhm.
new platform. I mentioned this in my last podcast. There's somebody very famous out there that's got her new platform, and you can pay, you can buy high end real estate, with crypto. I'm like, really? Do you even know what you're doing on the back end there? No. I mean, who are you going to call when you actually get someone who, so I'm like, God,
Right.
it's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, and
Um,
and
yeah.
we are very agent centric with our marketing and how we market ourselves, but the magic happens in the title company. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have that relationship with the title company that can make it happen. And luckily, I've got relationship with two great companies that know exactly what they're doing and are willing to go the extra mile to make these transactions possible. And you have to have that in place before you even start to market yourself.
Yeah. Moral of the story is get your team together.
Yeah.
Get your team together. Title, escrow, attorneys,
Mm-hmm.
CPAs. I mean, it's with anything else. High end, commercial land, whatever. You've got experts in each type of real estate. This is just another one. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't, wherever you're listening from, uh, this isn't just happening in major metro areas. This is happening everywhere. 5 years ago, that wasn't the case, but now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I encourage people, be the first in your area. Call your title guide, call your
Mm-hmm.
escrow people. And at least have those conversations. And if they shut you down,
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
somebody
And then
else
we
to talk
can,
to.
yeah, well, and then, yeah, and we can say this for another podcast, but we're
Yeah.
just getting to the point now where we're trying to transact in these means. What happens
Mm-hmm.
when we're trying to sell tokenized real estate for developers
Oh
that have
God.
tokenized it? And we've got timeshares and everything is being sold now as unit tokens, but there's real estate backing it. So, we're just now at the tip of the iceberg as the processes we're putting into place, because of the area of which I manage with being Colorado, and you've got the mountain resorts, we've already had it done here. So as a real
Mm-hmm.
estate agent, and we have a developer come in that does a tokenized development and he's selling these units at a tokenized basis. How are we going to behave as real estate agents in working with clients on purchasing properties such as this, working with title, working with
Mm-hmm.
lenders? And so, we're just, like I said, it's the tip of the iceberg. And so we're getting the process down in title now. Now let's take on the tokenization part. And so, like I said, we're just starting. There's so much to learn.
Just starting. Yeah. And I can't
Mm-hmm.
wait. I mean, like I said, this is the stuff that excites me about real estate.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's
Yeah,
the
but
cutting
everybody's
edge
like,
stuff.
when they say, "Oh, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this?" And it's people like you and me and say, "Okay, let's figure it out. Let's
Yeah.
do it."
I don't know, but let's figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to figure it out. We're going to
Yeah,
build the plane as we fly it.
absolutely. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So, how can people find you on social media and get in touch with you if they needed to?
For all my crypto stuff, I have my own little website, chainprops.com. I operate as blockchain properties. So chainprops.com. And I am Shelly Vincent, and I am on LinkedIn and Facebook. So it's pretty easy to find me. You'll see all the crypto posts, and you'll know you found me.
Which I love your crypto posts, by the way. They're actually
Yes.
useful. I have a lot of other crypto friends that just post whatever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but when you post, I'm like, ah, yes, this means something. So I actually
Yeah,
stop
I'm not
scrolling
one of
and
these
take a
people
look.
that can just post just to have a post out there, and I should. And it's so funny. I was so inspired because I had so many people ask after the last class, what does this actually mean? I was like, here, let me just explain it in one post. I hadn't even finished my website, getting it all up and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, okay, I have to get this out now. So I have a post now. I have my first post for my website, and I've already got a list going. It's like it's like you said, it's drinking from a fire hose, and
Yeah.
exactly just pinpoint, okay, we're going to talk about this today, we're going to talk about this today, and a lot of it's theoretical, right now at this point, but that is
Mm-hmm.
our challenge, is
Yeah.
taking the theoretical and putting it into concrete processes.
Love it. Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Shelly.
Of course. Well, thank you for having me. Love
We're going to do
talking to
this
you.
again.
Absolutely.
Oh, we're going to do a lot of work together. You're going to get so sick of me.